Goddamn wrong button.
Welcome back. Banks versus Davis. Fresh off the USA's victory over La France in basketball.
US fucking A, man. Yeah.
I gotta take my L because I said I was rooting for this team to lose. I was rooting for them to fail. I did not want this. Me and Cody Drag. He and I. Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, just
no, y'all some
bad tape.
Goddamn communists! You don't belong to be in this country.
Hey, if you want to kick me out of America, by all means.
Yeah, saying please get me up out of here, please. And if I could choose my place, take me to London.
At this point, I really don't know where I would go besides London. When you think about the Caribbean and all that, I'm like, the weather there. I don't think Jesse Ventura is going back to Mexico after he's staying in the U.S. after that WWE appearance because he started doing all the rounds on the TV shows apparently about he's endorsing Kamala Harris, and he's like, I think it's important we have a woman in the White House. I want to see that while I'm still alive. And I'm like, okay.
I definitely need to watch that because I watch his interviews for like the funny conspiracy theory stuff. But him saying that, I might have to tap in.
But it was someone saying that in the quote tweet where it's like his points are accurate because everyone remembers him as this or thinks of him as this conspiracy guy, but he's old school conspiracy. Like, UFOs exist, Bigfoot's real, not they want to take our children and make them sex slaves, as someone said in the tweet. Like, he's not a QAnon conspiracy theorist. He's like a real, like, back in the day when we really were like, getting high and, coming up with crazy ideas. Not I'm too dumb to think of something myself. So I'm saying stupid shit.
David. Do you know who was in NATO? Let me explain to you. In JFK, I met JFK in 1965. I'm a real fraud guy. I'm a real Marine, as you would know.
Yeah, but then again, he also went on to be a wrestler, so I also can't believe anything he says.
No, I believe him because he always talk about Hulk Hogan stooged on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Anytime
it's
somebody
wrestling business, who did you take from, Jesse?
Hulk Hogan, I believe it. He said, I'll never be his friend again. Hulk Hogan ain't got any friends. He got somebody that wipe his ass. It's called Brian Knobs.
They also said Hulk Hogan was expelled from WWE, and they walked that one back 800 times, didn't they? So words don't mean shit these days. Again, as I always bring up, didn't CM Punk say, go suck a blood-covered Saudi dick in regards to The Miz, and look who's back in the WWE.
Yeah, boss, I need you, boss. I'm sorry. I said what I said. I was mad at Hunter, but now I'm back.
My point, I was still proven right, though, about Team USA. They needed the old vets to win. If Steph Curry, LeBron, and KD aren't on this team, what's going to happen to Team USA? Do they even beat Serbia? Do they even beat France? Because Steph Curry took over in the fourth quarter legit, and it was just a thing where like the French never understood how a dribble, step to the side, three-pointer works. They never saw a tape of this guy in the last 12 years of like, hey, what's this? I know the one at the end that really still was his Steph Curry, wild circus shot that he pulls out of his ass. But 3 straight times he did that dribble, step to the side, shoot, and Nano DeColo was like, he keeps doing the same thing. What do I do?
Nothing. There's nothing you can do. You can just pray. That's about it.
You can let the other guy shoot because as soon as Kevin Durant had the ball, they were like, not letting him shoot. I'm like, let Kevin Durant. I know it's Kevin Durant that's stupid to say, but it's like Kevin Durant was looking to pass, right? It was it's semi-pro when they were passing the ball back and forth. No, you get it. No, you. No, you. No, you. Like they were just trying to give Steph Curry the ball in the last 4 minutes. And I was almost going like, uh-oh. When the fourth quarter started, I'm like, we might have a stupid finish alert. This is an 8-point game. It's in France. I already expect some chicanery from the referees because every time French was driving to the paint, they were getting foul calls.
I gotta do like Keenan Kill. Chicanery.
It was that. I'm like, because the free throw discrepancy was on France's side. I'm like, I don't like this. All France has to do is keep making their shots because Team USA kept passing the ball back to France. And I'm like, see, they're gonna lose this game, and the referees are gonna be like, that's a foul when it wasn't a foul.
So you're basically explaining basketball fundamentals. You know that, right? And you got some of the greatest players in basketball history, fundamentally sound, and also could execute other styles of play. Steph Curry just basically it's just insane. I've never seen a player since Jordan where they do certain stuff offensively. You're like, damn, that actually happened. Did this guy just did this? That's what it was. Like, we've been seeing it for 15 years now. I mean, obviously, when he found out that he was him, 2015, 2014, somewhere. No, 2014.
14-15 season. Yeah.
Yeah, when it was just like, all right. And then 2015, 16, especially 2016, when he was an unanimous MVP, it was like, all right, bro, this isn't fair. The type of shots he takes, and they go in, and he still can do that at this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In the first half, he was trying it, and it's like, oh, he might not have it in this game, and then second half started, he got it, and that's kind of the USA was playing this game. I hadn't been watching them at all. I hadn't been watching any basketball, as I said last week. Mostly Olympics, I wasn't able to catch just because I was at work. But this game, you could still like see like LeBron was showing the first quarter was his, and it was like, old man LeBron, he should just lean into the old man Logan look with the gray in his beard, just like fully grayed out and go old man, like play into that marketing of old man LeBron. Like, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good as I ever. Like he just leaned into that, even though like Yabusele dunked on him a bit. Like it's LeBron, he was trying to contest the ball.
Yeah, he in his Terry Funk stage, bro. Terry Funk with ECW stage.
Spinning ladders. Wee. Doing custom moonsaults.
Right now. He's starting to show. I mean, the past couple seasons he showed that he old, but yeah, I think he should just play the hits this upcoming season. Just go to the big towns, sit out the rest of them because
again, he's got to get his son minutes. That's why he's still playing. He's got to get his son a job.
He got him a job.
Yeah, but he's got to make sure his son keeps his job because once he's off that team, his son doesn't have a job.
He might not be on the team after this season, but he got there. The whole goal was for them to play on the same team. It happened. Hey, yeah. It doesn't matter if he went by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. You almost had me. No, but you almost had your car.
That was Team USA. Because Wembanyama was trying to do everything. Him, Yabusele, Nick Batum was trying still.
That joke happened. He just keeps on letting the joke play out.
And then Rudy Gobert, what's he, Captain Clutch, just, disappears.
He was just there for the cardio, brother. When the lights get bright, he's just like, yeah, say, la resistance. I like the cardio. I was trying.
He does the René Dupuis French tickler.
That's all he did. I feel bad for him though, Rudy Gobert, because it's like people really just be bullying him. I feel bad. He seemed like he ain't a bad guy. People just hate him.
That's what it is. He's unlikable.
Yeah, I don't know why. He doesn't. He don't say that.
It's you're overrated as a defender because you're tall and you stand in the paint. It's he started the pandemic by touching on the microphones conspiracy theory. Oh
God.
It's just that and he's French. So that's 3 strikes. Remember in South Park when Cartman's like, you're a ginger, you're a Jew, And you're from Jersey. That's 3 strikes, Kyle. You're out. Like, that's Rudy Gobert.
Which ones are the worst? But, I don't want to say what doctors will race, but yeah, I get it.
But that's Rudy Gobert. He's got 3 strikes against him, which is big man defender that gets overrated at times, because we would both say that Dwight Howard being a center was much more impactful on defense than Rudy Gobert as defensive MVP, player of the year, right?
Yeah, because Dwight can get you 20 with no offense. It's the
No, I'm
weirdest
not
thing
even
ever.
talking about the offense part. I'm just saying on as an anchor on defense, as someone who impacts defense, Dwight Howard versus Rudy Gobert, it was Dwight Howard. Like,
Yeah. Well, he can guard. I don't know if I should say every position when it relates to him, but he can guard 1 through 5. That's why.
and Rudy Gobert hasn't really done himself any favors because he carries himself with that, like, I deserve to be the best defensive player in the league attitude. So
Does he?
you can just kind of tell, which is why when he won it again, it was like, yeah, no shit, I'm Rudy Gobert.
I've never gotten that from him. I don't know. Like, I've heard the dude only talk so many times, but
No, not just like he just has that. It's all like not subtext, but it's all just like subtle with him, is what it seems like. Which is kind of the French thing of like you'll be arrogant in that quiet way, and then let the others do the talking around you.
right. I mean,
Which is why people love Wembanyama, because he's actually trying to talk.
is he? I've never heard him talk.
Yeah, Wembanyama, when he said like, I want to win, I hate losing. I'm going to try to win. If I don't win, this is the last year I won't win Defensive Player of the Year. He does that talking. Like,
And he did make a case as a rookie for Defensive Player of the Year, but
he said
like,
Rudy
wait,
can take this year. I'm going to have the next 8. So or something like that. He's like, Rudy can have this one going forward. It's going to be my award now.
I get it. Again, nobody really plays defense, so yeah, he'll get it by
Yeah.
default, bro.
The defensive lack of defensive rebounds in this game pissed me off. Where it's just like, as soon as the ball is shot, let's just run down and play on the offensive end. I'm like, grab the ball first, damn it! Like, don't just go like it's a Hail Mary and sprint down the field.
Well, they understand, even though I feel like Steve Kerr really shit the bed because he did not make any type of adjustments. It was kind of like, y'all know what to do. Go out there. That's all it was. It felt like basketball, but they didn't put Bam at the 4 because they needed height. Then they put AD out there, and that worked. And he got 4 blocks. They could have ran, but at the same time, you would have to keep Joe, or you have to keep AD at the 5.
They can't play Embiid because he's a lumbering idiot at this point. He's like, what do I do? Do I? Yeah, he stepped on Wembanyama's foot and was like, did I do that? Oh shit, I'm so clumsy.
Yeah, he does do that shit a lot. I'm like, dude, are you like the reincarnation of Giant Gonzalez?
And then he does after 20 minutes. Whew, I am exhausted. I mean,
Well, no, that's real.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's unplayable, and for him to like,
He said he's 7'2", 280. I'm like, this dude motherfucker is not no 280. He's 310.
And that's why this team angered me so much, because you can see like Kevin Durant when he was getting hot earlier this game, he does his shit talking, and I'm like, all right, just because you haven't talked shit in the last 8 years because your teams have been bad, now you want to be that guy.
Yeah, because I got a good team now.
Yeah, where was all that talk on the Nets when it was you and James Harden one night, and then you and Kyrie Irving the next night, and then you and a bunch of broken down old vets? No talk. And then where is that talk when it was you, Devin Booker, and 18 other scrubs, because y'all take all the money? Where is it then? But now when I got Steph again, I'm gonna show them I'm that guy.
That's how it worked. Hey man, listen, I was about to say something, but cool. I'm not. Never mind. I'm about to say something about his choices of doing things today, but
Say it. Say it.
nah, it's kind of a little too disrespectful, so I'll leave it alone. But at the same time, I'm bringing some.
Oh, why? Because what Dot said about. Okay. Dot said he got a haircut today, so it's like, of course he was gonna ball out because he got a haircut.
I kind of noticed that. I was like, all right, good, yeah. And I want to know. I mean, they got obviously black barbers in Paris, but it's like, are you going to the black barbers outside the city, or are they just bringing people in for y'all? Because everybody do kind of got shape up. I mean, Jason Tatum, that's his fucking biggest problem. Everybody want to talk about him not getting play time and him being weak. No, because he want to get a fucking fresh haircut every week. He want to line
All
up
right,
every
that's
week.
now you're talking from the NBA side of things.
No,
Jealousy
it's
in
not.
the air tonight, I can tell.
Dog, you supposed to look. This the only time I quote this fucking weed. Gilbert Arenas was right about that. That's the only time I ever quote him.
Oh my god, now I know. See, this is how I know you're trying to be a hater out of envy because you're using Gilbert Arenas to prove your point. That'd be like me saying, you know who has a great idea for things? Skip Bayless.
He does. He got 2 shows off. It just ain't working no more because he doesn't do right with people.
But USA won. The women are going to win tomorrow. The basketball is still America's dominant sport besides football,
Why?
obviously.
Explain to the
Why?
people.
Because at the end of the day, we still have someone who can shoot. No. At the end of the day, we still have someone who can shoot from 40
You
feet.
know where
Like,
I want you to go with that.
no,
Pause.
like there's no one like Steph Curry in any other country. Think about it. There's no pure shooter from a crazy distance in Greece and Canada. Like Jamal Murray can't rival what Steph does. He tries, but that's the closest imitation. Serbia doesn't have an answer. Germany doesn't. France, they all have great counterparts on the offensive and on the power forward side, on the small forward side, on the center side. But when it comes to like a pure point guard like Steph Curry with his scoring range, that's what teams don't have still. And the guy who got picked number one, the guys who got picked number 1 and 2 for France in the NBA draft this year, again, they're that small forward, athletic wing, or that 7-1 center. Like they don't have 6'3" guards who are going to shoot from 40 feet.
Right.
So as long as we have guys like that, we're still going to win.
I really just want you to say because we got the colors, but you
No,
didn't give.
I can't. You can't say that because look at the French team. Look at the French team 30 years ago, and look at the French team now.
Yeah, they got black players.
Yeah. Why?
Okay.
So you can't even say I can't. So that point doesn't make sense because look at the German team. They got Dennis Schroeder. Look at Canada again. The
It's
Canadian
affirmative
team.
action.
Okay.
Why Serbia? They only got one black person on their team.
What's it called? I think Spain had Lorenzo Brown because he's been playing in Europe so long. I don't think he plays in EuroLeague, but I can't remember if he's an American that gets Spain citizenship. But Lorenzo Brown does not really sound like a Spanish name when he's next to Sergio Llull and the Hernan Gomez twins. Like,
I mean, Lorenzo does sound Spanish. Can't hold you.
okay.
You know
That's
who
not,
else is a famous Lorenzo? MC Ren from NWA.
well, he's Devin Booker, right? He's
No,
half and
hell
half.
no. MC Ren is one of the most underrated rappers of all time.
No, I'm saying he's half black, half Hispanic, isn't he?
Who?
Oh, you said Ren. I'm thinking yellow. That's my bad.
Yeah, I'm like MC Ren. He black as the ace of spades.
I was like, hold on. As soon as you said who, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm thinking of the wrong guy in the WA.
Like Haitian.
Because I'm like,
I don't know. Well, yellow. I think yellow is just light skin. I don't know.
okay.
You know, we do exist, right? And we don't have to be.
All right. Now you're just trying to make me look.
It's called Creole. It's the same thing like Ricky Starks. Everybody's like,
I know. Because it's the same thing with Canelo, obviously. Like Canelo looks like he should be Irish.
Yeah, he definitely look like he'd be one of your cousins. But
yeah, there's a black Irish sprinter.
I know, and I follow
you
her.
Saw that?
Seconds,
yeah.
But what's your point?
Oh, we had a good race yesterday. It was good being out there on the truck. I was.
Yeah, I was like, me love them Lucky Charms.
And she was the only one on the 4x4 relay team because as soon as they handed the baton off to the white woman, they lost the second place spot. They went from second to fourth when she stopped having the baton in her hand.
Hey man, sprinters, Look, me and Heath been saying it for years, dog. They just got it.
All right, no.
Okay,
Here,
am
no.
I
I'm
lying?
saying that for the same. No, every woman in any facet of life has that. Nurses, cops,
I don't know about
prison
cop.
inmates.
Wait, what you
No,
talking about?
because there's always like a hot cop where people are like she can arrest me anytime. Ha 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 ha.
Who says that? And
People anytime they see a woman like a woman with a BBL and a bulletproof vest, it's like all right, like
where's that? I was trying to think. I've seen some, but it's like digitally. I ain't seen it in person.
anyway. But every facet of life, there's attractive women. Obviously, athletics has them, not just the
Not, hey,
WNBA's.
you're bugging. Not at Walmart. No disrespect.
Okay, all right. And but that's retail, just not
Retail, they supposed to be
major
there too.
shopping chain retail.
They at Home Depot.
That's the equivalent of Walmart. That's my point. In every facet, major chain retail.
No, but I just said Walmart, and then you was like, "That's retail," and I'm like, "Yes, it is retail, obviously."
Yeah, so is Home Depot. So all right, now we're just fighting over semantics at this. But my point is, of
Amazon,
course, like women track stars, of course, they're gonna be attractive because they have to have 0% body fat and strong thighs and ass because they're running all goddamn day.
but I'm talking about this, brother. They be having this. You don't. That's what I'm saying. I was talking about that more so than anything.
Yeah, but again, because there are attractive women in every field, it's just now when there's a spotlight on it, like the Olympics, you see it more. Or if you follow on Instagram and all that, like,
But some of us knew since high school.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you know, if you're not just some common person who's just like, oh, so and so is attractive. That's the whole point of people are catching on to the WNBA as a horny sport because they're like, damn, look at her. And she plays basketball. Wow, golly, like, wowzers, all that bullshit. It's
But
just annoying when people have to. Go ahead.
to be fair, that just started happening with the WNBA in the past like 5 years. Because prior to that, it'd be like Skylar Diggins, somebody like that. But now it's just
Yeah,
like, all
there
right,
was one for every 400. Yeah, in terms of
yeah,
like,
now and then they like, oh, they actually like men, gnarly.
I didn't want to lean into that part of the conversation where it's like I'm gonna be attracted to no stud, as you and Devin would disagree with, but still.
Depending on the type of stud.
But regardless, there are attractive women in every facet of life. In office work, fucking anywhere.
Office you work at.
Not where I work at. No. So I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last office job I had, I don't think I've seen that many.
But that's why people cheat in offices. So it has to for some reason. Besides
Hey,
people
I
cheat
said
anyway.
Amazon. Amazon's a sleeper spot. I'm talking about the warehouse and drive, especially the warehouse. They be in there with tights and Uggs.
That they take from the packages or like
Nah, if people have done that before. One of them I worked at, like you must be a stupid motherfucker.
really they actually did that?
And yeah, you dumb as shit. It's
Yeah.
there's literally 1,000 cameras here. They got to make sure we pick right, boss.
I mean that probably also is a good strategy because Amazon's like, it's fine. They'll just have to order it again.
Yeah, and then watch when you walk out. Bet we're gonna take this from you.
I don't know.
They be taking AirPods, like dog. I'm pretty sure if you work 2 days, you can get some AirPods, dog. They 180. Yeah, 2 paychecks you
Yeah.
can get that, brother, and have some money left over for Taco Bell.
Okay, Taco Bell. What the fuck?
I like Taco Bell. I would spend my
In
money on that.
2024?
Yes,
I
they don't
haven't
have
had
that. Oh yeah, by the way, if Big Mike is listening to this, I went to Del Taco last Sunday.
I haven't had Taco Bell in 7 years at this point. 7 or 6.
They ain't got Taco Bell where you at. That's why.
They do. It's just there's one in like every other town.
Yeah, it's probably made out of moose meat.
I mean, I used to love Taco Bell when I was a kid, but yeah, not anymore.
Yeah,
I used to
no,
love the Doritos tacos. I enjoyed the shit out of those.
That's my favorite fast food restaurant. Del
Taco
Taco,
Bell?
Taco.
Oh, Del Taco.
No, both Taco Bell and Del Taco, but obviously I prefer Del Taco. Like when me and your pops talked about it, he popped for Del Taco. He's
No,
like,
it's his
yeah, they don't
favorite
got
place
that.
to eat. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they ain't got that many out here. I'm like, no
Yeah.
shit.
That I think he liked El Pollo Loco when it was in California.
Wait, I just had a Mandela effect, dude. What the fuck happened to El Pollo Loco?
It's California based, I think.
Yeah, I just had a. I'm like,
But
dude,
then
that
you know what?
really,
You know what happened to it? Chipotle probably killed it.
damn, bro, you just made me. That just threw me off. I'm like, yo, I forgot all. And it's not like I ain't been home in it. Well, I ain't been home in almost a year. But still, to forget El Pollo Loco is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think Chipotle killed that off. It had
And they
to.
got Chipotle everywhere.
Yeah.
They not that good, but still.
Again, it killed off Taco Bell because it's like, don't eat shitty fast food, fake Mexican fast food. Eat kind of good Mexican fast food. That's not really fast food.
That's not
So
good. And it's more expensive. So yeah.
yeah,
Fucking burrito 13.47.
but I wanted to say this last week because I talked about Trap. I didn't want to, I forgot to talk about a key point in Trap that was self-reflective of myself. So we watch a lot of movies between you and I. I watch a lot of movies all the time. And when you watch movies, you kind of understand how movies can go, right? Like, oh, this is going to happen. Why? Because I've seen 15 other movies where something like this happens. And then voila, it happens. Famously, even though it was just to myself, but there was that movie Morgan in 2016. I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks kind of interesting. And then months later, I saw it. And 5 minutes in, I'm like, that girl's going to be a robot too. Because she just brushed her hair to the side after looking in the mirror. And at the end of the movie, she was revealed to also be an android, like the main character was. And I was like, see? And no, it's a bad movie directed by Ridley Scott's son. You don't need to watch it. But I was like, see, I watched too many movies because I just knew right away, which is I think like, oh, I could probably make a movie if I know writing and twists and filmmaking, stuff like that. But there's a point in Trap where I'm like, oh, I know what he's doing. It's a part where this is a brief spoiler where he's picking up a bike and the cops are trying to get him. And they're like, no, just let him be. Let him be. Let him pick up this bike. And like, he's going to take the, like the rim of the bike, those, how they have like those things and you can break off. It's the rims inside. I'm like, he's going to break that off and use it to get out of these handcuffs. And that's literally how the movie ends at that point. And I'm like,
I can break these cuffs. You can't break these cuffs.
and I'm like, that made me think of two things. Like one, again, I've seen too many movies because I know film writing. And two, am I also a serial killer? Because I could think I would do the same thing in that scenario. Like, oh shit, I'm handcuffed. How am I going to get out of these? Ooh, let me create a diversion to grab onto something and get out of these. Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, something might be wrong with me for real. In terms of one, I've seen too many movies, and two, I could probably be a serial killer on a bad day, on one bad day where it all just snaps.
I believe it. The hair and the glasses give it away.
Yeah. I mean, women have told me at one point were like they thought I had scared them just by like my attitude and demeanor. I'm like, I get that. I can understand that.
What? That you don't talk every 5 seconds? Oh god.
Yeah. That I'm very quiet and I just I have a look, I think. A look and a presence.
Just call me a white man with glasses.
Again,
Otherwise,
that's why those jokes are like every white guy in the photo before he murders his family. They're all smiling and looking happy, and it's like, little did we know he could do the unthinkable.
I'm gonna get you.
That's it. So by me being too worried about that, like, oh, I know Travis Bickle. I'm not going to be Travis Bickle, taxi driver. I know not to go that far. Like,
Yeah, because you don't show your racial empathy. So
That too. But have you ever got that vibe from me? Like, Davis probably could kill someone.
Yeah, it's called growing up in California.
Besides that, are we? Do you think we're like a hotbed for serial killers or criminal
Yes.
activity like that?
Are
I
we?
mean, we had Scott Peterson and O.J. Simpson and who else? The
Well, we
guy.
got
There's a
all
lot of you know.
Stacy. What's his name? Oh, Scott Peterson.
That's what I just said. Yeah,
Uh,
Scott Peterson, O.J.
OJ got off. He got acquitted. Damn, just the Zodiac killer. That fucking jabroni they made the movie about, or the TV show 2 years ago that was eating booty, black booty.
Oh,
I
Dahmer
think.
was he in California?
I think. Don't
I
quote
don't
me,
think
but I
so.
think so. It was
But
a dude like him in West Hollywood.
and I can't remember. I think Ted Bundy was Michigan or something like that.
Yeah, I think
Or
that's.
but
I'm gonna
that's
tell
kind
you
of
who.
the that's kind of the appeal of Trap in a way. Is like he's Ted Bundy esque and like how they said Ted Bundy was so charming and just um not nonchalant, but he just had an like, oh, this guy just seems like he is truly trying to help out because that's the point of Trap is like he's trying to. There are parts where he's helping the people in the arena, then he's helping the cops, and then he's doing all that. It's that trope of serial killers that they try to identify, which is they try to seem like the exact opposite they are. And I'm like, has someone ever thought that about me? Like,
It just you don't talk a lot, so people probably take that as
you'd have to ask like Rock, like deep or Eve, deep down, like, hey, do you think Davis could be a serial killer or something like that? Rock be like, I could see it.
but I shoot it. I love him, but I shoot his ass by the end.
Yeah, he'd have a reason. But it'd be something like that. Like if he did, he'd have a reason for it. He just wouldn't do it to do it. It'd be, I'd be like Dexter. Is probably what he would think.
If you want Eve to respond to it, just tell him it's a parlay that's going on about if he is serious.
Over under odds is Davis a serial killer? Okay.
What is that? Pedialyte?
Oh, it's Gatorade.
That's the reddest Gatorade I've ever seen. God,
But yeah, that's something I've heard to talk about last week, which in regards to Trap. Also, we talked about the realist black reactions, and I said the character in Trap had that. But an experience I had at a theater once was when I saw The Fate of the Furious, and a group of black women were sitting next to me, and they were reacting in the best possible way to stuff. Because when Owen Shaw came back, one girl's like, "My guy," and I want to be like, "Girl, me too," because it was like a real.
you should have
It
joined
was a
in.
real moment. But that was one of the like realist moments of like an authentic black reaction because it's an amazing moment when he shows up with Jason Statham to rescue that baby.
Yeah,
But
I had that reaction going to see Django on opening night. That was the
which
funniest. That's my favorite moment ever, and it would probably go down
your
in
favorite
history.
theater going experience? You mean?
Yeah, that probably nothing to beat it. Obviously now because the theaters are basically dead, but nothing to beat that. I mean, Infinity War is second, but nothing beats Django just because of hilarity. Like all the black people just laughing at the shit we not supposed to laugh at, and people was just
Yeah,
like, "Can we laugh too?"
I imagine
Especially,
every Sam Jackson joke. I mean, not joke,
bro,
but line. Yeah,
especially when he got shot in
sounds
the
like a
house.
joke.
Bro, when he got shot in the house, all the black people was in hysterics, and you hear nobody else laughing.
Yeah, that's why Dan Tosh had that great joke about DiCaprio's performance when he was like, you could tell after the second time DiCaprio says he's looking at like, I can get away with it. Like,
Well, he was reluctant to say it anyway.
yeah,
They used to bully him.
that's why he's like, Steven, you old decrepit bastard. Like, I missed you. Like,
They had to push him into saying it.
um, this is speaking of because nothing relates to it, but D23 was last night. It's still ongoing because today they were announcing a bunch of the cartoon shit, which was Coleman Domingo will be voicing Norman Osborn in the Spider-Man cartoon that was announced 3-4 years ago that they're finally releasing. And I'm like,
Right.
that's great casting. Because Coleman Domingo should play Norman Osborn in the real Spider-Man movie.
Dog, he is getting to the chicken. He got that coming out, and he got the Michael movie.
He's 50. He's waiting for these checks.
Yeah, that's when it seemed like as an actor, or actress, especially an actor, that's when you hit your peak. Like you see,
When you're a black actor, you got to specify that because it was the same thing for Mahershala. He'd been a working actor for a decade, and it finally hit it big. He was a regular on House of Cards, but when Moonlight was like, all right, now this guy can get checks wherever, whenever.
Yeah, I shouldn't have specified that. You're absolutely right. As a black actor, you don't start seeing no money in roles until you like in your 50s.
Yeah.
And then people be like, damn, they ain't gonna never retire. No, you see why Samuel Jackson ran it up for like a decade. Booking
for 3 decades. What do you mean? The 2000s, 2010s, and the 2020s.
Yeah, he was like, all right, cool, 2 movies a year. Even if they go the blockbuster.
Because that's when I was re-listening to all the Patrice O'Neal movie stuff again. The rewatchables just did Pulp Fiction, and when they had Tarantino on their podcast years ago to talk about other movies, they talked about King of New York, and they asked him why wasn't Fishburne Jules instead of Sam Jackson, because that was the story at the time, was that Lawrence Fishburne was supposed to play Jules in Pulp Fiction but turned it down, and Quentin Tarantino said Lawrence Fishburne wanted to do the movie, but his agents told him not to because they thought it was a supporting role. And his agents at the time said, you hired us to make you a leading man, so you can't take this role whether you like it or not, because you need to be the star of the movie, not Pulp Fiction featuring Lawrence Fishburne.
Well, we see how that turned.
And then the story later on is at Cannes, they're casting Die Hard with a Vengeance still, the role that who's going to be the sidekick to Bruce Willis's character, and it's supposed to be Lawrence Fishburne, but he's asking for $1 million, and the studio's saying no. And then the studio's at Cannes with Bruce Willis, like the studio representatives up for Die Hard at Cannes with Bruce Willis, and they see Pulp Fiction and they say, we're going to get that guy. And they gave the role to Sam Jackson.
And that worked out way better. I couldn't see Larry Fishburne as that role at all.
It would have worked because I think Lawrence Fishburne can act in anything. But
yeah, but probably not that. Because the thing is, he's not loud enough. Like Sam played that very well because he was loud. It's not like he was.
Well, he's an authentic New Yorker in that way, like because he'd been playing that role in Spike movies and yeah.
So that's why it worked out. And then it's like Larry always want to be the guy. He always want to be like the tough guy, as you see in Kings of New York, or the cool guy in The Matrix, or if y'all seen him in CSI in New Orleans, there you go. So
no, just CSI Las Vegas.
No, New Orleans. Is it Vegas? No, he was in New
Vegas.
Orleans.
No, Vegas, because he takes over when William Peterson left.
Oh yeah. Who was in New Orleans?
They had NCIS New Orleans. They didn't have CSI New Orleans.
There you go. I'm thinking about NCIS New Orleans, but yeah, I thought it was he was in that one. I remember he got cast in Vegas, but he was on there. He might still be on there. Nobody ever leave, but Jerry Burkhart.
No, he left. He left after like 4 seasons because then he did the Hannibal show.
It's pretty good chicken too.
Yeah.
Again, anybody that's listening, your bread and butter is always going to be TV and commercials.
Well, it was that thing where like he went on CSI because he thought his movie career was kind of. Oh, and I'm not saying it at that point, but in hindsight, as someone who was like, "Oh, I know that guy, I like him and stuff," Lawrence Fishburne. But in hindsight, I'm like, Lawrence Fishburne doing CSI in like 2008, 2009 ish. I'm like, damn, yeah, he wasn't really doing movies at that time if you look at it. But then he, in the mid 2010s, he starts to become Lawrence Fishburne, great supporting actor again.
Yeah, but also around that time too. That's after the writer's strike, so it's kind of like you got to get it how you live it. It's the same thing now, where we're about to talk about it with D23. You motherfuckers, this is the same dude that basically didn't want to give writers any type of money, and then they cheered and say they love him because they want to mark out because he was up north or down south with his friends. What the Rock said with the juice with some jabroni named Hoovertube. He was down south with some
So
jabroni Hoovertube.
yeah,
So now
last
y'all
year.
catering him as a hero because he's. Hold on, give me 1 second, brother.
No, go
I gotta
ahead.
test you. I gotta go Iron Sheik on this one. Ah, the Bob Iger, he make the Snow White. Like, bruh, all right, let me be clear. And we're gonna talk about the titles that were not announced because they announced these shits
No,
like
they
10
were
years.
announced, but it's like, how many are actually going to
They announced
happen?
this stuff 10 years ago. It's like we actually have footage now. Like the Snow
Yeah.
White movie was announced years ago. Lilo and Stitch, the live action, years ago. And then when he showed up, I was like, all right, bet. I'm tapped in.
Someone posted a video where he says a certain word, and I'm like,
It do
oh
sound
my
like
god, he does.
it does kind of sound like I will be watching. Definitely on bootleg, unless I'm with a young lady and she wants to see it. The Snow White movie as well.
Hawaiian Ocean. Ocean ride. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, that's more Middle Eastern than Hawaiian, but you know.
Remember, shit, this like they announced that so long ago. I remember they was talking about casting The Rock in that.
No,
I swear, Lilo.
they casted one guy and then fired him for another dude. That's what it was. Because the first
Yeah, but they were
actor,
talking about The Rock. They was trying to get him. Maybe it
they
was just a
tried,
rumor.
because Disney had been trying to get back at business with him, and obviously they did. But I want you to finish your Bob Iger point, because you are right. Like, he comes out and they greeted him like he was Tony Stark at the Stark Expo in Iron Man 2, like, yeah. And Bob Iger's like, it's so great to be back. A job I tried to quit.
I own you all. Yay, hooray.
Basically,
Like,
I was telling Keegan, like, Disney was like, we're going to take all the money you have, not all the money you have left, all the money you have, it's ours. And here's why. Here's why they can, and here's why they will. Because Universal is in a flip-flop state. They had Oppenheimer last year, great success. They have Super Mario Brothers, great success last year. This year they had The Fall Guy, didn't do so well. They had Despicable Me 4, which didn't do so well as the Minions. It's actually declining, that franchise, when it's Despicable Me versus the Minions. The Minions are much more successful than the franchise that created it. And their slate next year, I mean, they have the dying Fast and the Furious franchise, which every time I think of the Fast and Furious, I'm like, we got back-to-back shitty Fast and Furious movies, and just it breaks my soul to think about that.
and
So
they
they're
trying, saying every month,
Yeah.
hey, that Fast 11 movie gonna come out. No, I don't think so.
and Sony Sony had Bad Boys this year. They have the John Wick franchise. They have other stuff. They have the Spider-Man movies, obviously. So Sony's in its own state. But Warner Discovery is shooting itself in the foot and being like, ow, it hurts. Ow, it hurts. Ow, it hurts. Like, why am I doing this? Like, that's Warner Discovery every fucking day, from sports to animation to mainstream entertainment. It's like ridiculous. And Disney sees this and is like, we are going to bombard you with sequel. Did you like The Incredibles? You're going to like them again. Did you like Toy Story? You're going to like it again. Did you like Lilo and Stitch? You're going to like it again. Like, that's their strategy. Is, I mean, South Park had,
that's coming out this year. Guess what?
Yeah.
The live action next year.
Yeah, that their strategies, all this stuff you like, we're going to give it to you 2 different ways. And on the Marvel side, which is the stuff I'm always more interested in, because there's great leaked footage of the Ironheart show, which we talked about with X and Van. Like, that show was supposed to come out a year and a half ago.
Yeah, they shot that in 2022.
Yeah, they literally shot it right as Wakanda Forever was coming out because the whole point was like it's supposed to then segue into that show because we were just introduced to this badass character, and now we're gonna have a fucking new president by the time that show comes out, and it's like, is this even in the same universe anymore? Like, what's like so much has happened, but that footage looked pretty good, because
I thought they canned it for a while. They put it on ice.
They were putting everything on ice because they're like, we don't know what works anymore. It was the Steve Kerr thing. Like, I have too many people to play. Who do I play? They were Jason Tatum. Like, sit on the bench. Just sit on. If we need you, we'll call you. Okay.
Yeah, that's how they treat Ironheart. It's basically like 10th man on the bench. Like, yeah.
And our Armor Wars is Tyrese Halliburton. Like, why did you even bring me? What am I just supposed to be here, or
is that still greenlit?
No, it went from the show to the movie, as we talked about with Van and X.
Like,
it's wait and see. Like, Tyrese Halliburton got his middle. That's all that counts. Don Cheadle's going to get a role in something. That's all that he cares. So,
yeah.
Then there was the Daredevil footage. And it's like, which was a show that they were rewriting as they were still filming. But it was a show with 20 episodes in the first season, which was whose bright strategy was that? And they said last night season 2's on the way. You had trouble with the first. How are you gonna put out a second one if you
total rewrites? We got to reshoot this shit. They were shooting that last year.
They took the guys from the Loki show, like, here, come save this show for us. The guys we hired, they didn't know what to do. The guys who were hired to create the Daredevil show for Netflix were like, what if we just did Matt Murdock, the lawyer show? And Kevin Feige's like, no one wants to watch this shit. Like,
yeah, that, if in case y'all don't know, that was the first ideal. It was just like, all right, he a lawyer, he was fraud.
And Feige's like, where's the Kingpin? Where's the Punisher? Like,
we don't have that. He got cases though. He could be Phoenix Wright. You ever play that video game?
It's like, have you ever seen Law and Order? Just the order. That's what just the law. That's what this show is.
But he could hear very well, so he could tell if they lying. See, he still uses superpowers.
Yeah. And again, that footage was good. Yeah, and that shows the the Kingpin and Daredevil working together. And then we got the Fantastic Four footage, which, as I keep seeing the Fantastic Four footage, I'm worried about, is anything gonna fucking happen in this movie?
Oh yeah, brother. We in for a ride. That's my movie, my most anticipated movie right now.
And I'm not saying the footage looks bad. I'm just like, is this movie going to be a lot of talking? Because it's the guy who did WandaVision, Matt Shankman. I'm like, is he just going to do 90 minutes of talking and then a big battle at the end?
Because
that's what WandaVision was. It was a lot of great talking and storytelling, and then at the end, it's like, now we got to have a fight.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a lot of action in this movie. I think they're gonna.
Well, I know the Fantastic Four also aren't like ass kickers, but still, it's like
they just here for the Secret Wars, and then it's the whole alternate universe and
that's
and all that. That's all they're here for.
That's still why I'm like about it, even though everything I'm seeing I'm enjoying, but I'm like, these probably won't even be the Fantastic Four going forward if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, and that's a alleged thing too.
Yeah, I mean, and then we got the second Brave New World footage, which shows the actual Red Hulk with Harrison Ford's chest hair, because they had to be that authentic that Harrison Ford has chest hair in real life, so the Red Hulk has to have chest hair. And I'm like, okay, like
radiation, you can't take it off his hair. I'm pretty sure it can.
And that movie still is like,
and they started shooting that in 2022. And they shot that since 2022. They still shooting it right now, I guess. I bet you.
It is based off the same footage we saw. And it's just, as we talked about when the first show dropped, it's just stepped on Civil War Winter Soldier. And I'm like, I hate it has to be Anthony Mackie, because we enjoy Anthony Mackie as a meme creator and an actor. He's a really good actor. But I'm like, that's all this movie is. It's like, we liked Civil War, right? Yeah. We liked Winter Soldier, right? Yeah. How about we get 50% there?
But remember,
and And this is all trailer footage, so I'm not trying to overreact, but it's like,
and it probably wasn't even going to be what it is now. It looks good now.
Yeah.
But imagine, because they've been shooting it, like, dude, I'm not lying to y'all. They've been shooting this movie for about 2 years now. So imagine what they had before, and apparently it was way worse.
I was probably much more, again, just like Daredevil, probably much more stripped down, down to earth. And Kevin Feige's like, God, you people, it bigger, think bigger. And because Bob Iger's going to Kevin Feige thinking like, huh, stupid, huh, dumbass, think bigger. Think big. TV shows, no.
It's
Captain America's not on TV shows.
You got Daredevil, who is very dark. All right, the darkest character besides Batman, as far as heroes. He fights. We've seen it in Netflix formation and comics. Yeah. Then when you go to Captain America, it's like
he fights.
He fights. I mean, he has a cause. Well, Daredevil has a cause too, but more so, this is patriotic fighting. So he not fucking bashing your brains in when he fighting you. So, but at the same time, he's the new Captain America, but he's still Falcon. So how about this?
You ain't gotta do what Harrison Ford literally said to him in the trailer. You're no Steve Rogers.
And I need you to bring back the Avengers. And the best thing about the trailer was he said, with all due respect, sir, but you told us to fuck off. Which is true. So now you need us? Oh, now you need it. Duh, ain't nobody left. You got to get the new ones. So that's why this movie is going to be a draw, because it's bringing in the new Avengers.
It's going to have the Age of Ultron ending where it's like they all show up.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's good. I wonder if they're going to do the Age of Ultron thing where they all show up at the end. Like, here's what the new group looks like. Because Age of Ultron ends, it's like War Machine's there, Falcon's there, Scarlet Witch is there, and then it's like, oh, so these are going to be our new Avengers for real, because Thor left, Iron Man left, and then we get Civil War, and Iron Man's like, guess who's back, bitches? They backed up the Brinks truck.
Oh, kind of like how they doing now.
Yeah, and so all the Marvel stuff I did enjoy, even though I'm saying like I have worries just because the course correcting they're doing, it's that meme of the car on the highway where they see the exit and they're doing the drift into the exit. That's the MCU right now, where it's like, we can fix it, we can right the ship, all because Bob Iger and Kevin Feige are like, where did we fuck up? Well, we fucked up when we stopped paying Robert Downey Jr. a lot of money. And Kevin Feige's like,
young guy.
Yeah, in a way, because they've lost a lot of money by putting stuff on Disney Plus, which is the reason.
Again, it's Disney. This is the new NWO.
No, but even Disney still is like Dave Chappelle with the Oprah money. Even Disney's still like that thing today where they're like, it's my money. Like,
that's how the world.
No one's gonna take. Yeah. Because the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer footage was like, oh shit, that's the difference between a show and a movie. Because they're like, now we're going to the snow and we're dealing with AT-ATs again. It's like, holy fuck. Jon Favreau said, I get, instead of $50 million, I get $150 million. So,
yeah, and
which is a positive.
Yeah, not a bad life at all.
I mean, his life in general, like Jon Favreau's life, is an interesting one because he was a comedy drama writer and acted in his stuff, and then was a kids director with Elf, Zathura, and then Iron Man. And he's like, I got a great idea, Disney. You want to make a bunch of money? And they're like, yeah. He's like, the cartoons from 80 years ago? What if we digitize them? And they're like, go on. And then he got, $3 billion out of that. Even though his whole thing was like, it's meant to be like watching a nature documentary, but with actor voices. I'm like, I don't want to see that shit. Get the fuck out of my face. Like because his Jungle Book was even though I've never seen his Jungle Book or his Lion King, but I'm like, I know what you're trying to say, which is these are photorealistic animals. I'm like, no, they're not.
The only movie I've been thinking about watching is the Aladdin live action. The past 2 weeks, I've been thinking about watching it.
Really? See that I've said there are 2 Guy Ritchie movies I'll never watch. That and the one he made with his wife, Madonna, his wife at the time.
Well, it's the same thing as Geely. I got to do it just because he asked me to do it. Because we together.
But those are the only 2 Guy Ritchie movies I'll never watch.
Is it the Mufasa?
Yeah, directed by Moonlight's Barry Jenkins.
Yeah, no, they went all in. They said, "Yeah, we're going to go African American this time."
Yeah, because everyone did get mad that Jon Favreau directed Lion King, and they're like, "Look at the great all black cast we got, directed by this guy."
You think he was speaking slang on set?
There was no actor on set. It was guys in green suits.
He's still talking to them. Nah. And then everybody else just recording from a booth. Donald Glover and Beyonce. Not a bad
it was
at all.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was
a pretty good soundtrack too.
Oh, we skipped the Avatar 3, Fire and Ash, which again, like,
no, we didn't skip that.
No, I'm just saying. So he literally is going to lean into the water people, the fire people. What's next? Maybe the earth people, maybe the wind people, all the element people. Like, because James Cameron, visionary genius he once was, is like, I've seen all these anime cartoons where one controls water, one controls fire, one controls earth, and one controls wind. What if I did that with 12-foot tall blue aliens?
Oh, so another idea he'll steal.
Yeah, that's the. At this point, I'm like, all he did was steal Saturday morning cartoons. Like, I watched Shaolin Showdown. I know air, wind, earth, and fire.
I was thinking Avatar, but that works as well.
No, it literally is Avatar: The Last Airbender. But I'm saying, like, and they happen around the time because Aang and Aang, ain't they the same? Like, Shaolin Showdown's Aang versus Avatar: The Last Airbender, like a bald short kid.
Oh, I know what show you're talking about now. I never watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
You never watched Challenge? Oh, wow.
I was too old at that point.
There was the cowboy guy from Texas. He had the earth kung fu. There was the Brazilian kid Raimundo. He had the wind kung fu. You never watched that show?
Okay. No, I think I was too old. That's why I don't remember it. But I know they had the Game Boy Advance.
It was WB cartoon, so it was like right after Mucha Lucha, I think. It was in that block of What's New Scooby-Doo, Mucha Lucha.
No, I was like a teen because I was watching Mucha Lucha because the wrestling aspect of it.
A flea.
That's why I was watching that because that's around the time they also had we talked about it before, Ultimate Muscle for a small stint, like around.
So you're watching the new Kinkuku Man, right?
Yeah. So around that time, I was tapped in. But I never watched the other show. I think I was just at that point it was too late because I was watching anime. So I was tapped into Cartoon Network. Remember that, Warner Brothers? The thing you just let go.
They didn't shut down Cartoon Network. They shut down the website, is what it was.
Because they're broke. How you shut down a website?
Because the website costs money to run. It's not like anything's on the website. It's where you can watch Cartoon Network? Literally on Hulu, Max, or any other fucking device. Like they're
exactly. But still, if you can't hold up a website, it's getting scary.
Well, if we're being honest, websites really don't matter anymore anyway. Because that was the whole thing with Paramount shutting down the MTV website, which people are mad because they lost a lot of archived articles and stuff like that because they actually had writers writing for MTV's website. But it's like, you know what that's called now? Twitter. So
yeah, that's crazy. I forgot MTV existed. You see what they're doing to?
But MTV? No, MTV just airs ridiculousness. That's it.
No, but I'm saying that's another reason why I keep forgetting MTV.
Yeah.
MTV is like the thing, and I keep forgetting it ever existed.
Yeah, fair. I mean, that speaking of my point about, and Paramount's in this shape where they just got bought by Skydance. They're going to still remain Paramount, but they're still trying to compete with Disney. I mean, it's funny. Their answer to the D23 stuff is, we got Paw Patrol, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob, all these other stuff, which, like, yeah, right. That makes sense. Those are, good properties. And then on the mainstream side, it's like stuff that's hit or miss, like Mission Impossible is on its last legs. They legit are like, let's do Top Gun 3 again. I'm like, the secret to Top Gun 2 was the fucking delay, not the COVID delay, the 30-year delay. Like, that's why Top Gun 2 worked so well, not because it was a movie that would, besides it being exceptionally well made, but it was like time passed, not 3 years passed, time passed. So they're insane. Like, what do we do next? Because again, they have no big superheroes. They have horror franchises like Scream and Smile, but Disney is still, at the end of the day, like, we're gonna rule, because if you have kids, we're gonna rule the world. We just mentioned all the sequels and reboots, and then they're still going to try new stuff. There's a new animated Pixar show that's going to come to Disney Plus. Their new movie is something called Hoppers, where a girl gets inside a robot beaver and tries to save animals. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's a show or
a movie.
I gotta
Their slate was really just like, what the fuck's going on here? And then they were like, Dwayne Johnson is going to do a Monster Jam movie. And I'm like, Monster Jam hasn't been relevant in 15 years. Like, I used to go to Monster Jam.
That's crazy. I just went to one for the first time this year. And I saw Angelo Dawkins there with his family. It was the funniest shit ever.
Let me see. I'm trying to look at this.
Is it going to be animated or live action Monster Jam? Because
I think no. That man is going to do that. When you're driving a monster truck, you feel that power of that beast, that engine. He's going to do that bullshit of like 14-time world champion. He's playing that guy. Like, he's going back to that game plan, Tooth Fairy role of like the hero for kids and something lighthearted.
Oh, so you think it's going to be live action?
Definitely.
It could still work, but it would be better if they might say it's like compared to Cars if it was animated. I'm surprised they're not trying to make another Cars.
I think they went to the well too many times with Cars. That's why, and it didn't work versus Toy Story. They're like, people still love these toys. And the whole point of Toy Story 5 apparently is that it's toys versus technology. And I'm like, that should have been the last two movies, if we're being honest. The reason the third one worked so well.
The wild thing is, I felt they should have went home after the third one. But legit, you got to go home after this one. Like, bro, what else you gonna do? Oh, it's toys against nanotechnology.
Not nanotech, just regular tech. An iPad is a toy these days, not a toy.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that actually could work. I think that'll actually be a draw because you got people around my age when the first one came out, and then you got parents from my age demographic that remember these toys and just having toys in general compared to iPad, and it actually make for a good, I won't say think piece, but I think it'll actually work because us, around our age, we're not parents, but you are.
Bro, I'm the same age as Toy Story.
You said what?
Toy Story. I'm the same age as Toy Story. Toy Story is 95.
I know, and that's how I know I'm getting older, because that's like, god damn, dude.
But you're right. After the third one, which was what happens when you outgrow the toys, obviously, and he throws them away or gives them away to the daycare. But like the point of the fourth one, when I watched the fourth one, I'm like, they really should have leaned into this idea that they're making for the fifth one. I don't know why they tried to do like the girl creates her own toy as a replacement, which was the Forky character. I'm like, that wasn't that interesting to me. Like, when you something you
had to watch since 3.
No, in 4 it's the girl he gives the toys to. That's who it's about. The girl at the end of 3, Andy gives the toys away to the girl who I think her mom runs the daycare that he drops them off to. So she takes care of the Andy toys in the third, at the end of the third and the start and the entirety of the fourth. So I don't know if the fifth one is now she's older and wants to play on her iPad more than with the toys. So it's like, how are they going to find themselves? And then, so I think there was another thing where it's like, I don't know how much of the stuff was true. Cause again, it's all leaked stuff because the people who were there got to actually see stuff. But there was one thing that said a rogue army of Buzz Lightyears that are defective. I'm like, that was kind of the second one. You can't, so you're just going to run that idea back. And I'm like, or is that a joke about how Tesla's malfunction and then are going to take over the world? It was just baffling to me. But I'm like, Buzz Lightyear fought malfunctioning Buzz Lightyear in the second one. That's why it was so good.
And let's be clear about this meeting that they probably had for it. It was like, Tim, Tom, how much y'all want? 50 million. All right, done. Because you got, at this point, I got to upcharge you a lot.
Yeah. I mean, they also are doing an Inside Out TV show, and the whole point of Inside Out 2 was they lost Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling because they were going to underpay them. And Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling like, fuck you, I'm not taking less money.
Right. For a movie that drew. And then, but the thing is, that's how corrupt Hollywood is, because now they can say, well, you see, it cracked the top 6 all-time grossing movies. You shouldn't just stay with us, because then eventually you would have got paid. No, because what if it did? Then I would have been underpaid, and then you won't make a third movie or a TV
Not
show.
just that, the podcast I listened to, they said it best was, okay, you don't want to do this for this money? We'll get someone else, and no one will care that your voice isn't it anymore. As long as the main voice is around, which is the Amy Poehler Joy character. As long as she, like you said, as long as Tim and Tom are around, Toy Story can go on forever.
Yeah.
Because Tim Allen has literally pissed off people in Hollywood with his Republican act, and it's like, they still need Buzz Lightyear. They don't care if this guy's like, rah, Trump.
I was about to say, he's the one that probably asked for the most. Tom is just like, just give me my feet. If I can get more, cool. That's what he probably told his agent. But Tim, that greedy, no good motherfucker. He probably wanted
Tom is a greedy, no good motherfucker either, because he did Apple films, and those checks are big. So
what's but then the thing is, he commands that.
All right, Hoppers. Here was the movie I was talking about.
The past couple of years to command that type of money, other than be Buzz Lightyear. That's the only time he's drawing money.
That TV show he had, Last Man Standing, it was doing good for ABC. Then they got tired of him. Again, Disney company, and then it went to Fox, and it was still doing well until I think they canceled. I think because it was the Fox thing of like we're gonna get out of original programming, because again, Fox's whole goal is to have like 3 TV shows on at a time.
How's that working out for them right now?
No, that's their goal. Like they want to have.
Yeah, I know. How's that working right?
Really well, I think, because you don't have to spend money on TV shows like Disney's doing. That's why Disney took 911 from them, because Fox is like, you want to make this expensive show? Go ahead, by all means.
Yeah, I was about to say, you talking about the time when they had Bones on?
Yeah, and that's why Fox is, because they don't own entertainment in terms of 20th Century Fox anymore. So Fox is all about news and sports and reality programming, which is why they have 80 different shitty game shows on. And then they create 3 to 4 like live action TV shows. Like they have a new Baywatch, basically. It's not called Baywatch, but it's basically Baywatch. A cop in a murder town, show, and then 2 other shows are coming to Fox. And like that was their fall slate versus CBS has a fall slate. ABC has a fall slate. I think, funny enough, Tim Allen has a new show going to ABC with Kat Dennings. It's like the old. I think they're a father and daughter working in an automotive warehouse or company, something like that. So yeah, it's.
Well, he'd be very upset if I was on that TV show.
But here, I want to read this. Here's Hopper, that movie we talked about. Mabel, an animal lover who seizes the opportunity to use new technology to hop her consciousness into a lifelike robotic animal, an adorable beaver. Okay.
That's about to make money. I'm actually intrigued by that.
Well, it's basically the Matrix kind of in a way, or like control, or like Pacific Rim kind of, like the idea of like controlling something, controlling a mecha.
Dude, here's what people haven't realized about them for the 100 years they've been out. 100 years? Damn, I'm messing up. For all of 100 years or so, then Disney has been out. Here's how they really make their money. Listen closely. Same thing with pro wrestling. It's called merchandise, people. They make way more money off merchandise. The money that they make off the movies, yeah, that's the money that they get for that particular movie at that time. But you make your money from merch every quarter. So every quarter that you buy something, a princess, doll, or whatever, Snow White, whatever, every quarterly earning that they get times the money that they make from the movies into that by 2. So for every bill they get for a movie, which is pocket change for them, it's insane to say $1 billion is pocket change for somebody, anybody. The merch that they make is 20 times over from that. It's the reason why George Lucas was like, y'all give me $3 billion, y'all can take this shit. I'm tired of these fucking marks. They irritate
Yeah.
me as shit. I just want to be with my wife and my adopted kids. I don't want to be asked no more fucking questions. Take it. But you got to give me $3 billion. Okay. Because you know why? We're going to make that from the merch money alone. Star Wars is worth that much for him personally because of the merch. You always make your most money from merch.
Well, not just that, but Kevin Smith said this when the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars news was announced, because I used to listen to his old, when I didn't listen to his show at the time, and I was catching. It was before he created that show. He had his old Smodcast podcast network, but I used to listen to the guy that had like the YouTube compilation clips. But he was like, Disney buying Marvel and Disney was the smartest idea because for years they had little girls because they had all the Disney princesses. He's like, now they have little boys. Little boys got tired of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, all that. Now they get Iron Man. Now they get Luke Skywalker. Now they get Captain America. So that was a brilliant strategy because now, and which is what I just said, like now they're getting everyone's money. Because again, I'm as old as Toy Story. Am I going to go see Toy Story 5? No, because I don't care about Toy Story anymore. But there are people my age who still care about Toy Story, who still care about live action Lilo and Stitch. I'll watch it. You're just not going to get my money right away for me to go see it. But I'll see it potentially because I love the first Lilo and Stitch. Because again, I was 8 years old when Lilo and Stitch came out.
You know what's good about the strategy? Every day somebody is born. And for every day somebody's born, you're probably getting something that's Disney related. When people have baby showers, they're going to show, all right, bring the kid, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse. If it's a girl, a Minnie Mouse, especially Mexican kids. If it's Minnie Mouse, do that. They're extremely good, and they've always been with. You don't know what you want, kid, but we got something that you might want.
They have everything. They have the catalog of catalogs.
Yeah.
Not to say that Warner Brothers doesn't, because again, Warner Brothers has Game of Thrones to Sopranos to Looney Tunes to Batman to anything, but it's how they market that catalog, which is piss poorly.
I'm about to say, their market strategy is, we out of money again.
Well, again, they don't have a theme park, which is a monument built to all this shit. Think Walt Disney was like, it's the characters that he created. And
my fault. They bought Six Flags for a cup.
Well, what's Six Flags now versus Disneyland?
Six Flags is really, it's just like the theme of DC is really for adults. Because every time we went to Six Flags, it was more so like adults up there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of gang violence too, but that's why they started putting.
But think of the original Disneyland and Walt Disney's kind of like, it's this haven of wonder. And now they're like, we got the Star Wars shit here. He probably would have been like, No,
that's the father every time he got to dip it to his wallet.
Yeah. And it's funny.
As a resident of Florida for years, you see it. You just see these motherfuckers they come out the airport just look like they walk like Roman Reigns on night 2, like let's get this shit over with. So I go home.
But the biggest takeaway is your point of someone's born not just every day, every minute of every day. So people like us, to your earlier point, which is the stuff that was coming out when we were like Kiki's daughter's ages, is now stuff that can be recycled to us, or in a new way or the same way.
Yeah.
And I thought about this while listening to this podcast, which was why are the old network shows still hits compared to prestige TV type shows? And the point is like, they weren't trying to be morbid about it, but it's like, 70-year-olds still exist. Like, old people still exist, and old people want to watch basic shows. Like, my dad, he's closer to 70 than he is to 18. So he's not going to care more about the hottest show that critics love versus the hottest mainstream show, which is why he loved The Big Bang Theory compared to like a FX comedy. You know what I mean? Not saying that he can love both, but that thing of like, oh, it's just funny, it makes me laugh. Which that old sitcom formula, or something like Criminal Minds versus something on HBO. And, the HBO's best drama versus CBS's second best drama. And so we'll be that generation where we actually kind of will have the higher taste palettes potentially. Things are just much more divisive than it was before. Even though a lot of us, like you and I, grew up on not having cable or having cable at times. So we got reruns of like the amount of Law and Orders we've seen, the amounts of old sitcoms we've seen, and stuff we chose to see on our own. So it's that thing of like old taste still kind of lingers because we still have old people. When we are the old people, what's our taste going to be? Is it going to be stuff like Game of Thrones still? Or is it going to be stuff that will we actually age into like the Blue Bloods type of show, the CSI type of shows again? That's what was interesting to me. I'm like, I understand their point. Like, these old people aren't dying because so many were born between the 40s and the 80s, and the people born in the 80s, they're 40 now. So what shows do they want to watch? And that was the other point of that argument, was the reason Hollywood fell behind was, and this is a much bigger thing for we're about to wrap up, but a topic for another day, which was, it's funny, Hollywood predicted technology, like future technology. They actually didn't expect how fast it would work. You know what I mean? Like they predicted you can FaceTime on your phone. They predicted like big plasma screen TVs or VR. They just didn't think like, oh, this stuff is actually a lot sooner. It's not in the form that we would want it to be, which is like you watch CGI characters fight in front of you for real instead of putting this thing on. You just put your phone out and then like in sci-fi movies. But they didn't think like, oh, that would actually work and then fuck up the game for everything in society, which is like a relic like movie theaters being like, why do I have to go to a place when I can just stay home and watch the movie? So they were not the shooting yourself like Warner Discovery, but they were like, fuck, that does make a lot of sense. But we make much more money with the movie theaters because it's been almost 200 years of movie theaters. We can't just abandon that plan in 3 years because the pandemic said, hey, people would much rather watch movies at home, and they're willing to pay $20 a movie if it means that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the
point where me and you talked about this again, something we predicted years ago about the movie theater. I mean, obviously, a lot of people could predict it about the fall of it because of the pandemic, but you really see, I think this year a lot of stuff is starting to manifest based on what happened 4 years ago, that the movie theater really might not last. Like, I don't see a lot of people going to the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just because stuff isn't out, but I just don't see a lot of people like, yo, I'm about to go to the movies. Like, I went to go see Bad Boys, and that was kind of like, all right, I'll just go see it. It's not like it's a need like it used to be. Now,
and I was gonna, but then I was like, oh, I got to save my movie trips. Not that it's because it is expensive to go to the movies, not just because the ticket itself is, $15, but if you want a drink, that's an extra $8. And then the experience of having to drive there. Huh?
You don't bring your stuff into the theater?
Nah, I can't. How am I going to sneak that shit in with a? I mean, I probably could if I tried, but
Teenagers don't care. You could, dude. You could come in here with a Chipotle bag and a large globe. All right, and
no.
they
But
don't
my
care.
point is, I could be at home with a fully stocked fridge and pay the $8 to rent the movie at home, and that'd be 10 times as efficient compared to I gotta drive to the movie theater. I gotta and then I gotta sit with other people who might fuck up my experience. When I was watching Trap, a guy left Trap with 40 minutes to go, and I'm like, "Sir, this is not a bad movie. I don't know why you're leaving. I don't know if he was fed up or what, but he left. I thought like he was just gonna have to go to the bathroom. Then I slowly realized like 10 minutes later, when I panicked, I'm like, is this guy gonna come back and something dangerous is gonna happen? Or two, and then after another 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, that guy just left. He's not coming back.
And you're right. It's the same thing I feel like about with sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, Eve Dad said it best. He said, "Why would I go to a game where I can sit at home and watch it for free?"
But and this is my argument of like, even though it's gonna be John Cena's last WrestleMania, I'm not paying I'm not paying $4,000 to have a shitty seat where I see John Cena the size of an ant when I can see him perfectly clear from my couch.
Well, I told
and not have and save $3,980.
I told you, I don't care if I'm about to be sitting like Sting in the crowd. I gotta go, bro.
No, but that's why wrestling makes money. That's why the NFL makes money. That's why live sporting events. That's why concerts make money, because that experience is still more valuable to people than going to the movies is now.
Yeah,
the movies doesn't offer that live experience because it's just either it's too short, and even though it's less bang for your buck and less buck for your bang, it's both of them, because you're not having to pay $100 to watch Infinity War. It's
right.
because that's only 100 seats in the theater, if that, and they're all priced the same. So it's this thing where I'm saying that we adapted so fast to things because the technology did, but also things are so set in stone that they don't want to change it, because Hollywood's not prepared not to make that much money off of movies unless it's the biggest movie. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because Hollywood still believes like, and that's the whole point of like, well, then movie stars don't matter. Obviously, it's the IP that matters, which is right and wrong, because a movie star can still make a movie. The IP still matters. But even then, not all IP is successful IP, which is my point last week, which is Fall Guy fails, Furiosa fails, blah, blah, blah. Deadpool Wolverine wins because that was something everyone wanted to see.
Yeah.
So the right IP will get all your money. In Disney right now, that's their strategy, which is The Incredibles, Toy Story, Lilo and Stitch, Moana, all of it gets your money. All of it.
Yeah. They've cornered the market. It's getting back to where what I said before. I was sound like, tinfoil hat, man. But seriously, it's getting to that point now where you're gonna get your food, you're gonna get everything from Amazon. That's gonna be your only retail and grocery store in the future. And then your entertainment is just Disney. They just bullied everybody.
A super corporation, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are right now. Because like I said, with D23, it's movies that I want to see. Whether it be bootleg or not, it's something I want to see. Or with some female, whatever the case may be. Yeah.
I skipped over the movie I should be anticipated for, but I'm not, because of the people involved in that. And it's speaking on the AI technology thing, which is Tron Ares. I love Tron Legacy, but Tron Ares is like, what happens when the AI technology gets loose in the real world, and starring Jared Leto. And I'm like, fuck. Directed by the guy who did the last Pirates of the Caribbean, which was the worst one.
Yeah.
Like,
and I hated that shit with the de-aging.
Yeah.
That shit look weird.
Well, one, it's just a person who's not a good director. I watched I told you, because earlier this year I watched all 5 of them, because I never seen the last 2, the 4th and the 5th. And the 4th wasn't that bad. It just had a different tone. But the 5th is just god awful.
Yeah,
because
it was a
Johnny
whole
Depp
lot of
showed up to set and it was like the laziest version of Jack Sparrow he could be, and then it was literally someone who didn't know how to make a big budget action movie at all.
well, it was that, and they was like, "Hey, we gonna pay you about $200 million. Okay, I'll be there." And he probably was drunk half the time.
Yeah, well, that's his character is leaning into he's the the wino, the drunk whose glory days are behind him, and that's supposed to. I'm like, this is too close to home though. But to Vince's point, that's why OnlyFans took off, because if there was a particular, no, be honest, there's someone who I want to see naked. Does she do this? I can't see that personally because she's not into me. But if she's providing that service and I'm willing to pay it, then I can see her naked. That was the appeal of it, which was women who just don't want to get naked for porn because that's too extreme, or they want to control it. They did, and then guys like, oh, I want to see that particular woman, and they look her up, she has one, then boom, I'll pay the $5 a month. I'll pay the whatever bucks a month. That's because some things are still gonna matter like that, which is what'll get your money instantly, or that thing. So instead of going to the strip club where the experience isn't what it once was, because there are other methods to get something like that. Not just because we're more antisocial every day, but the means are a lot more personal and more intimate than ever before.
Yeah,
They're more direct than ever before. Like you said, like DoorDash, Amazon, all this stuff can be shipped directly to you. Why go to a store and pick out the things yourself when it can all show up right up, all of it right there for you? And these are positives and negatives, obviously. Someone like me has to work in the warehouse to ship this stuff. Someone like you has to work in the warehouse to ship this stuff. But also at the end of the day, like, we still consume. We still are consumers, illegal or legal, in terms of the way we watch these things. But still, and that's why we talk about them in the context we do. Because if I'm going to see Trap, I'll consume it in the way of like my time or my money. And that's somewhat how, like, that's how he continues to make money, because he says he has 3 more movie ideas, and I'm like, I'm not really interested in those. You got me with this one. The next one's, I'll wait and see.
yeah. I feel like he's gonna try to go back to that will of the not untouchables, but he going
Unbreakable.
back to the split glass. I feel like he about to go back to those type of
But
characters.
I told you with this, it was really conventional. There was not something that was like, ooh, what a twist. It was a really straight, it almost could have been like a 70s movie in a way, in terms of its plotting and its pacing and its filmmaking. And Disney's doing the opposite, where they want to do superstars again, like all those Marvel movies. Dwayne Johnson back for a monster truck movie, like that superstar, like Tom Cruise went from he's flying jets to he's getting in a NASCAR. Like that's something that's very similar with Dwayne Johnson doing Monster Jam. Like, what's something that's underserved but a huge audience likes? Monster trucks. Okay, even though monster trucks haven't been relevant for 15 years now, let me revitalize it. Let me tap into that world and make it something again.
Right.
So, but thank you all for tuning in this week. We'll be back. I wonder what's going to happen in the next week, because hopefully by then I'll finally have seen Bad Boys Ride or Die.
All right, bro. This is about to be the encouraging.
No, the reason I could, no, I'm saying the reason I don't want that to be my new bit where I'm like, I'm finally going to see it. I'm finally going to see it, because I was going to try to watch it last week, but then I was watching too much other stuff instead. And then this weekend, I'm like, oh, I wasn't going to be able to fit it in between recordings because the way my work week was. So, and I can't think of anything else that's, and the Bike Riders is on Peacock. I might check that out because you said you watched it a few weeks ago, so we could talk about that. Oh yeah, you weren't interested in it really. So
I watched it, but yeah, we could talk about it.
But yeah, nothing. I'm trying to think if there's something major coming.
Say we'll see what happens. Something always happens, so we definitely gonna have
No, but there's no other big like Netflix movie or anything like that, because
Hollywood dead, bro.
no, it's waiting until the winter with, not really with, but it's Mufasa, Sonic 3. Sonic 3 and Mufasa are on the same day, and someone said there was a tweet where someone said that he heard a guy say, "I don't care if they gave me a free ticket to Mufasa, I'm seeing Sonic 3 on that day and instead because they gave people free tickets to Mufasa."
I'm cool with Mufasa's origin story. Hey, I'll be tapped into Sonic 3.
Mufasa.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't care about no hygiene, none of that origin story. I'll be watching Sonic 3. Thank you.
Yeah, well, Keanu Reeves as Shadow. Get in the kitchen, woman.
I'll be like, disgusting black creature. I'll be tapped into that.
I still can't believe people actually created those. The world's a sick place with sick thoughts. I think people with the... Oh yeah, Drake dropped 100 gigs. As someone who that was another white flag. I can't even really talk about it.
It's over, bro. It came out and had 3 songs, and everybody's just like, "Oh, you really did run to Atlanta."
All right, that part's overstated. All right, we really got to wrap up right now. But that part's overstated because someone had the good tweet of like, "Did you expect those people also to stop working with him?" We all need
but he did it. Like,
we all need water from the well. Okay, like.
Dog, it's crazy because I ain't even listened to those songs. I know what to expect from every single one of those individuals because they annoy me.
Yeah, they're the same songs.
The substance of rapping. You said what?
But I'm just more interested because I really didn't even have time to check out any of it. But it's just a special features DVD. That's it, right?
Once upon a time, a couple years ago, if he would have dropped, even I want to say before all this shit happened this year, I want to say last year, if he would have dropped $100 grand, if he would have dropped 100 gigabytes of music, people probably
music, yeah,
or just anything, people wouldn't rush to it. If this was like 3-4 years ago, people would have rushed to it. It's just nobody cares anymore. I think the disc was just a nail in the coffin, but around the time, and we could talk about this later, but around the time that for all the dogs came out, people was like, all right, that's enough. And then he was talking about, oh, I'm about to go on vacation. But yet you kind of didn't take a vacation. You just putting out songs here and there this past year, and people just like,
yeah. Well, he had the stomach issue. I think he said, I'm going to have to take time off for my health. And then he's like, I'll do Scary Hours and then still finish the tour. And if not finish the tour, do this joint J. Cole tour. Like what? And again, like Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins, you can come back and ref this match, but now you're injured again. Like what is it?
Hey, your body's undefeated just like Father Time. And then he coming out with a project with Party Next Door. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna listen. And then he got a whole album produced by Conductor Williams, which is like the hip hop producer. I'm gonna listen. But damn, bro, enough is enough sometimes.
But this wasn't an element because it's like you can't just be like you want some bonus features like I would have back then. Now it's kind of not the best time for that. I know you're having a bad time, but it's not like we just want to sift through all this right now.
It's sometimes too much is enough, bro.
And I also just think he couldn't put together a documentary with it. You know what I mean? That's what it also seems like. Because I see like people posting clips, like the people in his camp and the people posting them. I'm also like, so were they just documenting stuff and trying to make a documentary and they couldn't put it all together in a way that would have made sense? That's also what it screams to me. So.
That's what it seemed like.
But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. We all appreciate it. Thanks to new subscribers, as always. Thanks to the same subscribers. We'll see y'all next time.